Hi everyone, and welcome back to another rather bleak and blustery day on the allotment. I've sought sanctuary in one of the greenhouses, and I thought I'd start by planting my very first seed potatoes for 2018. Welcome back. Well, I've sought sanctuary again in one of the greenhouses. It's just started to hail. It's very blustery as well, and what a couple of weeks we've had. It's been shocking, the weather. It's not too bad in the greenhouse, it's quite warm, so I thought I'd make a start on planting my first seed potatoes for 2018. And I'm using 15 litre pots. I've part filled them with a general purpose compost, and I'm just planting two varieties. Charlotte on the left. I've got two seed potatoes in each pot. The chits are not really very big, the sprouts, but on the kestrel, that's the other variety, you can see the shoots, the sprouts, they're coming along nicely, and they're a bit of a giveaway with the colour, quite purple. So I'm going to fill these pots up now with some more compost right up to the top, and I'm going to mix in some fish blood and bone as well. And the rest of the seed potatoes are chitting away nicely beneath the potting bench. So I'll get on with that, and then if the weather eases up a little bit, I might venture outside and show you a few things that I've done on the plot. Catch you in a minute. So they're the first seed potatoes potted for 2018. 2 pots of Charlotte, 2 pots of kestrel, with a couple of handfuls of fish blood and bone in each 15 litre pot. The weather's picked up a little bit now, so I'm going to take you outside and show you a few things that I've done in the last week or so. And as you can see, there's evidence of some of the activity just outside the greenhouse here with the raspberry canes that have been cut. So I'll take you outside. We're outside of the greenhouse now, just taking a look at the raspberry canes that were cut down in the last week or so. The quality of this video may not be great because there's a lot of wind, and it'll be quiet 1 minute and then it picks up the next, and it does tend to spoil the sound quality a little bit, so just bear with me. Quite a lot of canes there. It took us, the two of us, one person cutting and the other carting them away over here. Well, it must have taken a good hour, an hour and a half or so to do all the canes on the plot. I don't know how many canes we've got, but I suspect it's thousands. And they've not been thrown away or composted. They've just been put here to dry in the sun. And if you can see at the back of the greenhouse, they're the cuttings from not last year but the year before's raspberries, and the idea is to allow the canes to dry out and then to burn them and to use the resulting potash to spread back on the self-same raspberry plants. So the ones at the back there, they've been there for over a year, and as you can see from the colour, they're nice and grey, so they're ready to burn. So all I've got to do is purchase one of the little metal dustbin burners and we'll be away. So I'll get those burned down and put the ash on the raspberries, and then after I've done that, I'll then top dress where the raspberry canes have been with some manure, some horse manure. So that's a job done. It's not a job that you always relish because there's lots of bending involved, and you tend to find quite a few nettles down there at the bottom, so you get stung as well. So that's the raspberry canes cut. We're on the second allotment now. The first one has not really changed very much, as you can see. All the no-dig beds just waiting for the season to warm up. But on the second plot, I've turned over the bed in front of us, and that's going to take the potatoes this year. It had beans last year, and because the tops of the beans had been left in quite a while, the weeds had sort of developed alongside as well, so they had to be removed. And this plot is dug. There are 4 beds that are rotated, and we have potatoes in here and root crops, but the potatoes basically are the reason, and the lack of available manure to convert this at this point to no dig. So as you can see, we've still got winter crops in here. We've got the leeks, plenty of those. Still quite a few sprouts, although we've grubbed out about 4 rows. We have 2 varieties of sprouts. I think last year we had Napoleon and Nelson, an early and a late, and this coming year it's going to be Napoleon and Eversham. So wait for the season to warm up, and probably about the 3rd week in March we'll get us first earlies in this bed here. To the right of us, the weather's got the better of the parsnip tops, and the parsnips are still in the ground and they're still fantastic. We had 6 rows, 2 rows of Albion, 2 rows of Gladiator, and I think the top 2 rows, although I said in an earlier update that they were the student, I think they were actually Javelin. And we're going to grow the same varieties this year, I think. You can see where the raspberry canes were, right up the boundary line of the 2nd and 3rd plots, on both sides actually, the canes, because they do have a habit of spreading quite a bit, and there was quite a lot of grass in there, so that's been removed as well. And as I say, potash will go on, and then manure. Looking at the 3rd plot, again, not really very much in the way of progress really. The ground's still far too cold. It's still actually semi-frozen. You can walk on it without it giving. We have cleared out the fruit cage, and you can see the debris just in the front of the fruit cage there. That's to be removed. And I've picked up some hops, I'll show you those now, and we're going to mulch that fruit cage. This is some of the debris pulled out, weeds, and I think there's a flowering plant just to the other side, and that had grown through, so we removed that as well. You can see I've put a little bit of spent hops in the cage already, but the rest are just there by the baths. I've about 8 sacks still to pop in and spread over the area. It's a little bit densely packed with red currant, white currant and black currant bushes. They're still all quite new plants, so there might be 1 or 2 that get pruned back, and there may be a few taken out as well and put in the new fruit cage that we're about to build on the new 5th half plot. And I'll show you the half plot now, because we've made a start on that. Coming up to the new plot, the 5th plot now, and you can see on the boundary line between the 3rd and 4th we've actually taken out a section of fencing, because just here is where we're going to run a path up to the new plot, and you can see we're going to have to reconfigure this a little bit. Maybe run this path all the way up to the top, and then maybe do something about this just to tidy that up, because it's going to be a bit higgledy-piggledy otherwise. So we've taken the fence out, removed a couple of fruit bushes that were here and just healed them in at the other side, and we spent a morning yesterday on Saturday tidying up some of the rubbish on the site. And this plot here is actually quite big to say it's a half plot. It's 70 foot long, and I think it's about 20 foot wide, and it used to belong to this bit here, and in the past the plot must have been divided up, halved. So the whole plot here is about 145 foot long and about 20 foot in width. So I've got another greenhouse to put on this one, and it's a 16 foot by 8, and it's going to go on the left hand side in the middle there. And this area here where we've skimmed the top of the ground is going to take a fruit cage, and it's going to be constructed of site fencing. We think 6 should do it. They're about 3 metres in length, 3.3 metres in length, and about 2 metres high. So we'll have 6 2 across the back, which will form part of the boundary fence with the neighbour's plot, and then 1 in at each end, and then 2 on the front, which will sort of have slightly ajar to form a door in the middle. And it's not too bad, the plot, although we've had to skim it because it's just completely carpeted with nettles, and because it's just had fruit trees in this bit in the past and not much else. The top of the soil's been quite soft, and they've gone down about 2.5 inch, and it's just like a mat of nettle roots. So his plan is to completely strip or take the turf and the weeds off the top. This is what we've done with all the other allotments as we've prepared them, with the exception of the no-dig plot. This is incidentally going to be no-dig as well, and we're going to have, as I say, a fruit cage on this side, a greenhouse on the left, and then probably 4 raised beds, and we'll have a slab path and some wood chip mulching as well. So that's the plan. It's probably going to take us a couple of weeks to just get the top off all the turf, and when we've done that, then we'll be able to see what condition the land is in, because as you can see it slopes off quite a bit, so there may be some levelling to be done before we start and construct things. So that's the idea. Not for the faint-hearted really, because it's hard work, and the 2 of us yesterday spent about an hour and a half just stripping this area, which is about 10 foot by 20 foot, and then it all has to be wheelbarrowed away to, it's all green waste. We're not getting rid of any brick or plastic or anything. The plastic's being bagged up at the top, and the bricks we'll salvage and use. So that's the new 5th half plot. So we've now got 4 full plots and just over 1,000 square metres. It's approximately 1/4 of an acre. It's as you've noticed, it's very windy, so I'm going to go back in one of the greenhouses now, and then we'll take it from there. Well, I'm back in the middle greenhouse, and I can tell you that I'm glad to be out of that wind. It's bitterly cold, and in the middle greenhouse, this is where we had the lettuce. Well, you can see how cold it's been because this tray of lettuce has not really grown on in the last week and a half or so. I just thought I'd show you the things that I sowed in the last update, because you can see how different vegetables and salad germinate and the speed at which they germinate. If you remember, we had some cherry bell radish at the back there, some bolt hardy beetroot for the leaf there, and a mixed salad leaf here. And if we look, you can see the beetroot has not moved, it's just stood still. There might just be 1 or 2 seeds of the radish beginning to germinate. There's a couple there, and I think I can see 1 there as well, and maybe there. But if you look at the lettuce, the mixed green and red lettuce, that's doing really nicely. That's come through despite the cold weather. They've been covered up with bubble wrap, so they've been getting light, but they've been protected from the really cold weather that we've had. And it's been down to about -3 in here on a night, so it must have been about -5 outside. But it just shows you that the lettuce leaf, which you would think would be quite tender, actually germinates very quickly, and as you can see, keeps through the winter quite nicely. Stops growing for a month or 2, but it's still healthy. Has an occasional water if it dries out, because even though it's bitterly cold outside, when the sun shines it does get quite warm in here, and you know, the trace can dry out, so just keep them moist but not overly wet. So we've had some success with the salad leaf, and I'm quite confident that the other things will germinate as well. And the 2 trays to the side here, these are just additional trays of lettuce leaf. One is of mixed oriental seed, and the other is a mixed red and green, just like the one on the end there. So that's going to be it for today. It's Sunday today, the 11th of February. I'm going to have a cup of tea, and then I'm going to dig up some parsnips and a few carrots, and I'm going to head off home for some lunch. I'll maybe catch you later in the week. Take care. And just before I go home now for lunch, I'll just show you what we're going to be eating today. We've got some carrots, parsnips, sprouts, swede, turnip, a little bit of purple sprouting broccoli. We've got a little bit of lettuce there as well for tea. And all of this is going to go into a stew that's going to keep us warm and happy today and probably tomorrow. Catch you later. Morning everyone, and welcome back to the plot. Happy Valentine's Day. It's a balmy -2 degrees on the plot. We're looking at the new allotment, the 5th one, and you can see that we've just about stripped the turf off the top, all the weeds, the nettles and what have you. Another 3 or 4 hours and we should have it finished. But for now, it's time for a cup of tea, and then we're going to go down yonder and wheelbarrow some manure onto the plot. The ground here is far too hard, I think. Maybe about 11 o'clock we might start stripping again, so I'll catch you later. Hi folks, Thursday morning on the 15th of February. I've had a few days off and at last we've managed to finish stripping the turf off the new plot, and the sun's out today, so it's nice to finish on a high note. I'll just show you the plot. There's still a big pile of soil to be spread around the plot, but we've managed to finish it. Just got to level the soil now because it drops off from right to left, and then we can think about planning where we put things. So thank you very much for watching, and hope you have a nice weekend. Today and tomorrow promise to be quite nice days, although it's going to be quite muddy now because the ground's been frozen and now it's softened right up. So not quite certain what I'm going to do today. Might do some more manure spreading, but take it easy and I'll catch you later. Cheers.